recently the discovery of like thousands and thousands and thousands of yardage of secret tunnels under the rainforest, like secret Mayan tunnels.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Well, there's just been a lot of secret tunnels recently because there's like the Mayan tunnels under the rainforest, which I'm like, that's sick.
Wait, that are still there?
Yeah.
Like, what do I have to do to walk
Well,
around
the thing that's probably become a anthropologist.
Can I just go along, though? Can I just be there?
You're like, can I just help to dig?
I will help dig. I will be the average Joe on the scene where I can go, what the fuck is that? And then they can feel cool explaining it to me.
Yeah, you know, they probably would appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, so that, well, the Mayan civilization is like thousands and thousands. Like big chunks of that society, if I remember right, like collapsed even before like Cortez got here. So like,
Right.
They were a whole civilization that like got up and fell down.
And then got back up.
The Westerner, right, before Westerner showed up. And then there's the secret tunnel in Scotland that was discovered that might have some cool ancient pagan shit in it. I don't know, they just keep finding...
That surprises me less for some reason.
Well, I'm more just surprised they keep finding shit in Britain because just people are on top of each other and digging all the time. I think they would have found everything by now.
Nope, you just gotta dig in a different spot.
They did find King Richard at a parking lot. So, like, who the fuck knows? Like, that's my favorite. It's just, yes, this royal man is a car park now.
Brutal.
Hi, and welcome to Blank Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and as always, I'm joined by...
John.
Sarah.
And the Lordbot.
James.
I feel like we need to apologize for the fact that John is sharpening a knife actively while we're recording this episode.
Yeah, if you hear grinding, just ignore it. I gotta put another edge on the wrong side of this knife.
Yeah, because...
I told him my aim was getting better. He's just taking defensive action.
I mean, between that and the fact we're talking about the Tremere finally...
Yeah, I really have to get in the spirit, because I, do my best to avoid everything having to do with Tremere as often as I possibly can. So if I'm going to be talking about it for, the next... Let's be real, we're going to talk about it for 2 hours. You guys are going to get, an hour and a half of it. But I have to get in the right mindset. So I'm wearing the cool circle glasses. I'm drinking coffee, Bloody Mary, and I'm sharpening a knife. Like I said earlier, Sarah, it's so that when I stab my friends in the back, it's more efficient.
That's just caring. If you're going to stab somebody and you like them, it should be a well-sharpened knife because... A blunt one is just going to hurt more.
I will say, as the resident Tremere, I'm a little nervous, but it's fine.
I've actually been reading the original core book, and I've been having a lot of fun with it.
It's really cool. The Tremere are really cool. They're also bastards, so I get why everybody's like, fuck the Tremere. I'm like, no, I get it. They've earned that. But also, it's really cool, you guys. So this is part of our clan deep dive series that's voted on by a mix of our lovely patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys for narrowing the polls down that we throw into public for blood sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blood sports!
And so the community voted on us to cover Tremere. We're going to be covering in this little series a mix of older meta plot and lore as well as the newer stuff for V5 so that new players can get caught up on what the fuck's going on and veteran players are aware of how their stories have carried on into modern nights. So... I have written a content warning because we are talking about the Tremere, so, shit's gonna be fucked at certain points of, talking about their structure and, systems of abuse and self-harm and all that kind of stuff. So if you're not in the mood for it, that's fine. Come back later.
Fine. No judge.
We have a fuckload of sources covering the V5 core book, the Camarilla book, the Anarch book, the Tremere clan book, Tremere Revised, Chicago by Night, Cults of the Blood Gods, Chicago Folios, Forbidden Religions, Beckett's Jihad Diary, Lore of the Clans, Blood Magic, Secrets of Thaumaturgy, and Blood Sacrifice, the Thaumaturgy Companion.
And we'll get into it more why, but we probably won't reference them. If you want even more there, they show up a lot in Mage. We'll talk about why that is later.
Yeah.
But So
yeah, mage shit will come up probably a bit more in the next episode.
Okay, little preview then.
Yeah, it's you got some wizard in my vampire. You got some vampire in my wizard. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what this clan is.
Yeah, if Malkavians were originally the Fae Pyres, then these are the May Pyres.
The mage pyres.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say
magpies.
The magpies. Ooh,
that sounds cooler.
Now I'm just thinking about magpies with little hats.
Like Tall pointy.
See, I was
Yeah,
thinking
like
little
little wizard
fangs.
hats.
Yeah.
Little fangs coming out their little beaks.
Oh my
little-
god,
that's
no,
cute.
I don't like that.
Magpies.
And Sarah's idea evolved in my head to just be like a little top hat and a monocle.
Oh, like a little magician. Like he's got, and in his beak, he's holding like the little wand stick.
I like this.
It's very cute.
He's got little white gloves on the very tip of his wings.
Yeah, well, he's a magpie, so he's got like the little white.
Oh,
on
shit,
him already. Yeah, he's a very classy bird. They're bastard birds, but you know,
I don't like the fangs though.
I think the fangs are cool.
No.
fangs are cute.
When I was a kid, I had some really intense. I'm just gonna say it was sleep paralysis. Maybe witnessing a demon trying to take me. I don't know,
Oh,
but
the
it
Hat
had a
Man?
beak and fangs. And that was fucked.
Toothbird.
You had an advanced hat man.
It was intense.
No Robitussin was involved. It was just
I was just a kid. Yeah,
you
I
were
was
just
like,
raw dogging your demons.
I was like 8, and this demon was like, "Hey, yo, kid, what's up? I fucking want to. I hate you." And I'm like, I don't know what to do about that." This is a long ass story, though. We're not gonna get into.
We're not going to
it.
get into details. I just want to make sure you're okay.
If anybody wants to know about my demon story, hit me up on our Discord. I'll tell you it.
That's a Discord exclusive.
Yeah.
All you had to do was call up Jesus and Bob Dobbs.
I didn't think about the Bob Dobbs at the time. I was too young.
That's fair.
Sometimes when you're a child, you don't think about the Bob Dobbs. But yeah, dude, would any of you want to read the quote?
Sure. We were never noble. Our clan consists of mortals who sought power they didn't deserve. Perhaps it's time we embrace those who love magic for its own sake. Karna.
Yeah,
That's
think-
from the V5 core book.
it is.
It's on page 94, I hear.
It is.
That's a lot of pages.
She might have said this in there's a novella series with Karna that's pretty badass that James was like, I think that quote's from there too. And I'm like, if it is, the homegirl's not wrong.
Yeah, that's the for the fans curious. That's the Widow's Walk series. Honestly, before we started deep diving into the lore, when I learned about all the like background characters, it was one of the few series for World of Darkness, like the fluff books they made, that I was like, I really like this character. This makes a lot of sense. That things she's doing, but I'm not going to go into Karna fanboying until we get into next episode.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, so the Tremere, what are they known for? I wrote the Audacity TM.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just Tremere tend to be driven towards success. They're perfectionists, and they're often brilliant minds that are working in a coulda, not shoulda mindset. You know, the kind of guys that are like, what if we brought back dinosaurs and put them on an island and made a theme park?
Yeah.
After watching Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That's the thing is they have the audacity to be like,
We can do it.
No, but we can do it. They fucked up.
Yeah, so you don't use frog DNA. We just grab different...
Right.
We'll just
Like-
use magic.
Amphibians are not even reptiles. Like, I don't know why they thought this would work.
This is stupid. Why are the raptors so smart?
They're also known for hierarchy and order. The pyramid, which is the main organization for the Tremere, and its many layers and structures, is a big proponent of the clan. And until recent nights, they were the most organized clan, leading them to be one of the most powerful out of the Camarilla, and they're very fervent protectors of the Masquerade.
Which is weird considering they're like, I'm going to close this door and then I'm going to spill blood all over the room and make it get up.
Well, it's a combination of they showed up later in the Vampire Chronicle timeline, so it's a one, I have to prove really hard that I'm supposed to be in the room, and then two, if you want to do cool wizard shit, you gotta get real good at hiding your cool wizard shit.
I guess that's fair. Also, they wouldn't have to prove that they deserve to be in the room if they weren't fuckers and weren't, usurpers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They're also known to be kind of isolated. They have this weird combination of clan loyalty combined with other vampires just being like, ew, gross, get out of here. You don't even go here. Please leave.
I might be spoiling something later on, and sorry if I am, but is it actually clan loyalty when you're, like, addicted to it?
It's an interesting... We'll get into more details on this a little bit later, but it's a combination of...
Stockholm Syndrome?
Stockholm and or just kind of, when you join an organization or like a subculture and you just get really attached to it. So it's a combination of that and then also potential cult-like tactics. There's a reason we covered the cults episode way before this, guys.
I would say that there's a lot of stuff just reading this that was applicable to Ventru that is just as equally applicable here. The Ventru have their board and their own structures, but here their structure is just a little more obscured and a little more fluid, whereas the Ventrus was pretty rigid and you're always attached to your sire and the people below you. Here you can just get moved around more.
You can get moved around more based on other factors, but the Tremere and the Ventru have a lot of parallels in the way they function, and that might be part of the reason why the Ventru's like, no, these guys are useful. Fucking just don't do your annoying witchy. Just stop burning patchouli in my office. Beyond that, like, you're fine.
I'm like, no, patchouli
I really
time.
don't like that this next bullet point here I can only read as dirty deeds done at the great cost of others.
That's kind of how I wrote it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
thank you. Because I was trying to do the joke, whereas like I feel like an AC/DC joke would be here, but I'm like the they are not dirt cheap. They're at a very high cost, usually at the expense of other people. So that's what I wrote. So yeah,
Good.
the Tremere are known for doing various war crimes, having a very intense apprenticing process, and they're often more the powerhouse or like the shock troopers behind the crown. They tend to not be they tend to not be princes. They tend to not be barons. But they tend to be the guy that's like just behind the baron that's just like running shit. So they're kind of more like, I think his name is Viserys in Game of Thrones. That eunuch guy that's just like moving all the pieces behind all the royals, but he's not actually a royal himself.
Never watched it, but
See, I always saw Tremere as like the scary dog privilege of the prince.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely the scary dog.
Yeah, it's Viserys. We got
I didn't get it
last time.
right. Hey.
Yep.
Yeah, they're little Viserys, maybe a little finger, and they like we're moving and shaking things, but like we don't have the prestige that everybody else does. But like I have all the fucking money and the secrets and the bitches, so like who's winning?
Yeah.
if you've watched Berserk, I would also say the old man who's just like plotting things the whole time when they make it to the actual kingdom and they're like the actual knights.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one. That's also a good reference. Thank you.
I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but
I do not remember his name. It's been a minute since I've read Berserk, so I don't remember.
I'm
It's
specific.
Sean.
Is it Sean?
No.
Damn it.
It might be.
You said that with such confidence.
You just gotta say something from your gut sometimes.
Yes, this clan is also known for this kind of like dark academia and occultism. They tend to pull academia and highly educated circles, so you get a lot of tweed and libraries and manuscripts. And studying ancient traditions along with pursuing new and terrifying research. If you're into Lovecraft shit, if you're into Reanimator, this is not a bad clan for you to get into where you're just like, I want to do weird science. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Absolutely. This is the group to do it. Have fun.
Yeah, if you want to
Wait,
play
like the movie?
Yeah. Both doctors. You can do both doctors.
Nice.
Yeah, if I was gonna say, if you want to play mage and no one else at your table wants to play mage, just make a Tremere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just forcefully make the mages happen.
They also have a lot of overlap with that one hunter group. Now I'm drawing a blank on their name. The Arcanum.
Yeah.
They-
They have some opinions on the Arcanum.
They have opinions on Arcanum and vice versa, but they also might share members.
They might.
Quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot of, because of the way the Tremere tend to weed out recruits and interact with people in the way that they kind of do mortal power structures and maneuverings. This is a clan that's also very deeply embedded in a lot of mortal structures, but through like secret societies and backroom dealings and that kind of thing. So, your Freemasons,
Yeah,
the Hellfire clubs, that kind of shit.
well, in the intro story in the very first Tremere book, the sire of the character it follows is literally like a teacher, like a professor. He's got enough credits that he can just do late night classes for some reason.
He's like, I have tenure, so all my classes start at 8 p.m. Get fucked.
Yeah.
When you have tenure, you can just do that. Yeah. So, oh god, more modern day. In modern days, there might be like Silicon Valley Tremere that are recruiting assholes that are just like, I can reinvent the future with engineering. And he's like, I don't know about that, but you're smart and you have a lot of moxie, kid. Drink this soup. Don't ask questions.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
crypto bro, Tremere.
Oof. Gross.
The Tremere can get worse.
Yeah, but the thing is, the crypto bro Tremere would be like, no, I know this is a scam, but I'm doing it on purpose because I'm trying to make all the money and then fuck off.
That or they're not just tokens, they're sigils. And the higher the value, the more they work.
Or not even higher the value, I just need a lot of them. It's a sigil, so it doesn't matter how much money it's actually worth. I just need a lot of these out. I'm like, oh no.
Well, the more value people put on it, so like, yeah, the worth of it would make sense, because the more energy people put into it, the more value they put into it, the more potency it has.
To the moon.
I think I know what NPC I'm making for this series.
Fuck. Anyways, I'm sorry, everyone. So the look of the clan is pretty wide ranging. You can get your kind of upper class, very buttoned up, professorial, academia, top tier kind of people. You can also just get weird alt goth witchy people. You can get people that are into like the turn of the century Orientalism, where they're just like, I wear silk robes all the time, and just I have a Ouija board, and just all total gambit. You can get very, very traditional people that are wearing like the Order of the Golden Dawn robes and the big silly hats, or you can get people that are very gender bendy and the whole gambit of things.
So what you're saying is no matter how they dress, they all probably have a Tumblr.
Yeah. It's one of those, unfortunately with Tremere, their vibe, the vibe is consistent, but the wrapping paper is different, if that makes sense. Like, you always are just like, that's a fucking witch.
Which clan do you think has more Discordians in it? The Tremere or Malkavian?
Oh, Tremere.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Depends what kind of Discordian, but we can get into that later in the episode.
We'll get into that. Unfortunately, I literally have to get into that during some of this because it comes up in the actual books. And I'm just like, God damn it.
Because, I mean, reality busting, that whole Malkavian thing is pretty Discordian if you think about it. But,
yeah.
But, so these are... Oh, you're good. These are the Warlocks, the Blood Witches, the Maguses, Thaumaturgists, Usurpers, and the Broken Clan.
I think that one of those is the most accurate.
What?
I'll give you one guess.
Friends?
That's not in the list.
It's not even in the list.
That's not in
Not
the list.
even
No, it's
close.
Usurpers.
Yeah.
It's Usurpers.
Yeah.
one thing that I think is interesting now, you said Maguses, and they specifically do not use the term mage or mages. They specifically call themselves magi or magus.
Or Magi.
The plural of magus is magi.
Is it Magi or Magi?
No, Magi is the plural.
But I like Magi.
I believe it's Greek where you... the plural is an I. That's why you say octopi instead of octopuses.
Actually, that's inaccurate now. They changed it.
Oh, they did?
Or I don't know if they changed it or if
it's
it was just a common misconception, but it is octopuses.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird, and I don't like it because octopi is much better to say.
Same thing with cacti.
Wait, is it cactuses?
No. It's cactus
cacti.
and then cacti.
Okay.
This is actually kind of important to them. One of the things it says about them specifically is that while Latin declined in pretty much every other corner of the occult, many of the terms that Tremere prefer, they still use. While everyone else stopped using it, they use Latin as their common tongue. Almost all their books are written in that language, and most Tremere are expected to know it.
So, getting into the thickets of the clan. So, who gets embraced? This clan tends to be very choosy and picky with mortals on who... They tend to pick more on who's going to serve the needs of the clan the best.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Just like, if somebody has a particular skill that can fill a niche, if somebody has abilities that they're like, that would be interesting to explore further, or resources sometimes.
Yeah, it even mentions in the book that sometimes it's just whoever serves the person who needs an apprentice at the time, what they need the most could be why, even if you're not particularly into magic. They like that. They look out for magic and weird thinking and sciences and stuff, but
If they got a smart accountant and they need some numbers done.
or I need a dumb muscle guy. Hey, you're a vampire now. You're going to be sweeping.
It's like, look, I need a dumb muscle guy, but in the occult practices, we can teach this guy to get into more like Tai Chi kind of things.
How to summon spirit blades with his hand.
Yeah.
Or blood weapons.
All I can think of is just the vampire version of Kuwabara.
Pretty much.
You know, okay, I've said this before, but I'm going to be super duper. I'm coming clean, guys, okay?
Oh my god.
It's upsetting how cool the Tremere are because they're just such fuckers.
Yeah.
Yup. Welcome to my nightmares.
And it doesn't help that, like, my favorite clan specifically is like, no, seriously? Let's kill them.
Like, seriously, fuck these guys.
Yeah, like, let's go ahead and just make sure they don't exist.
Yes.
Oh, just give it a bit. When we do the history episode, there'll be good reason why the Meatsy hate them.
Yeah, see, we're presenting here's all the cool shit before we get to the history episode where we're like, okay, these guys, even for vampires, kind of fucked. Mm-hmm. So strap in. But yeah, people that the clan tends to embrace are people with strong wills, people with aggressive personalities, people who are capable of serving the greater good and able to kind of look at big picture things as opposed to like personal gains. They tend to go for the academic and people with like occult aptitudes. So even if you're not like a smart person, if for some reason you're really good at like channeling ghosts, they might just be like, oh, that one. Mm-hmm. You know, are you okay?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Sorry, it looked like you were going to say something, and then it just turned to this dramatic you pulling off sunglasses.
I didn't want to hit the mic with my,
No, you're good. You're
hand or
good.
my glasses.
On the subject of rogue embraces, those that are done more spur of the moment for either love, power, by accident, or they are done without the regent's approval, those are usually killed, and then the sire is punished very harshly.
What does it mean by harshly?
It's kind of left to the regent's interpretation. It could be you just get the shit knocked out of you. It could be you're stripped of your rank and you have to start over. It could be both of those. It could be you're banned from the city and you have to go to a whole new chantry.
Do you have notes later about their blood bonding stuff? If not, this would be a good time for me to bring it up.
But yeah, go for it.
So I know one of the punishments it brings up multiple times is that you're really not supposed to blood bond any other Tremere. I mean, when you're making a new vampire, it's kind of necessary. Yeah. And they have part of their siring ritual is that. But one of the punishments it notes in the book is like, oh, you fucked up. You have to drink the blood of 7 other Tremere.
Well, yeah, there's a ritualized punishment within the clan that basically it's... so you know there's it's not Vinniculum. Is it Vinniculum?
The Sabbat ritual? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Vinniculum. So it's kind of in that vein where you have a cup of jungle juice of a bunch of kindred's vitae and you're bound to like that group of people. It's like that, except you're like the CEO board of your mystical occult pyramid.
Yeah, their Order of 7, I think they call it.
Yeah, Council of 7.
Council of 7, yeah.
Yeah. So they as part of your punishment is you are now bloodbound to your boss's boss's boss.
7 of them.
All
of
7
your
of them.
boss's boss.
Yeah. It's like a nightmare.
And sometimes also the person that you upset or wronged, if they're another Tremere, and that's why they're doing it, they will add that 8th person's blood into it. So now whoever you fucked over, you're now a little bit bonded to them.
Well, yeah, there's the problem of all in the previous editions, all Tremere were are much more easily bound to their own clan. Mm-hmm. Or they're already like one step bound to anybody in their clan, so that makes this punishment kind of more of a kick in the dick. Because you're already bloodbound and have this kind of emotional attachment to just people in your clan in general. And then if this punishment comes up or you're forcefully bound to somebody else in the clan, it goes from you just immediately go to step 2.
I like that you use emotionally bound when it's really closer to chemically dependent.
It's a kind of like a psychoactive chemical emotional thing. How hard you want to roleplay that at your table is kind of up to y'all.
Fair.
So you can play it as like a compulsion, like need of I have to do this, or you can just play it as the really gross I have feelings for this person, but I also fucking hate them, and I know these feelings aren't real, but I have them now, and I have to fucking deal with this, and it's just like, ugh.
Why are you describing some of like my past relationships?
I know, right? Isn't it terrifying?
I don't understand.
I know.
Damn.
This is why you need to stop drinking the blood of your partners.
No!
But it's hot!
It's, yeah.
Just having a whole Angelina Jolie moment.
Hell yeah.
You're the Billy Bob in this.
Wait, are you saying that Angelina had the genuine feelings, or that Billy Bob had the genuine feelings?
I don't care enough about them to really know. I just know they used to be into blood drinking and wearing each other's blood and necklaces around. So it seems like they were both into it.
If you haven't drawn magical sigils in your partner's blood, you don't have a real partner.
Hey, I was gonna say, as a side note, if you wanted to add some of that older stuff into your game and keep it as harsh, the punishment could just be making them do it twice.
Yeah.
You get a drink, and then come back in 2 weeks. You're gonna drink some more.
Well, yes and no, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So back to the actual embracing process. Once embraced, the fledgling goes through an initiation ritual. So this is where the Tremere have an interesting sidestep of things. So there is the recitation of the Tremere Code, which is a list of behaviors and expectations of every Tremere. And this code has existed at least as far back as the 15th century and is said to have been written by Tremere himself. And this code, they have it written out in the old books. It's a long ass list of things. I'm not going to list them all here. But the recitation of the Tremere Code does not involve magic or coercion or anything. It is just hey, so here's a list of things we expect from you. Say it back to me like you understand. Like, it's basically like you're getting Mirandized by the Tremere.
I don't know about the coercion stuff. I mean, maybe it's changed in later editions, but in the original edition, it's just someone like being forced to drink blood while repeat after me.
Well, it's supposed to not be done via a blood binding or any of that kind of shit. It's supposed to be you understand what you're getting into and you are consenting to have this done to you, but it's vampires, so there's a lot of like big air quotes.
It also notes that while there is one set code, if you want to use it in your game or reference it, it exists. You can look it up. It's in the book. It's on the wiki.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. But it also states that if you want to change it, that a lot of different parts of the world, they have slightly changed the code. At one point, some political revolutionaries instead changed it to be related to what was going on in France at the time. Although later the tribunal was like, don't fucking do that. So like, it can change too. If you want to tweak it, or you're the mages in your city are getting fucking weird, and for some reason your player character said something very different. All completely acceptable.
Yeah.
Do you guys think in modern nights they just have it like a terms and conditions thing on the internet?
And they just like
You
scroll
through it and click yes. Like, yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, I follow the rules, whatever.
I feel like they would have to adopt that. Like, it would be an actual scroll, but you just like sign at the bottom with a little blood or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What am I signing to? Just sign it or you're not going to be a vampire.
Could you imagine Strauss from Bloodlines handing you a tablet? You have to like scroll through and then hit the button at the bottom that's like, I'm not a robot. Like,
You have to do a CAPTCHA.
listen, neonate.
You're sitting there like,
I need you to choose all the things that are stoplights.
Oh, the worst.
And then you're sitting there looking like, well, in like the fourth style background, there is a stoplight. Should I click this one? I'm not
Like
sure.
the stoplight is like in the grid, so like the corner of it's in one block, but the main light. So do I click that other one? Like,
see, I always play a game to see how wrong I can be with it accepting it. It's just me slightly fighting back against the robots while I still can.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like
wonder
it.
why you're
Be
being
careful, they're
observed.
going to come for you.
I mean, I might be the reason someone got hit by a Tesla, and I'm okay with that.
But anyways, so yeah, the first half of the embrace is the recitation of the Tremere Code. The second is the transubstantiation of seven, or the seven. I saw this written several different ways. Regardless, this is where you drink the blood of the Council of Seven, the highest ranking of the Tremere, which brings them one step bound to the clan. So that's the part of it where it goes.
Womp, womp.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing with the Tremere is they have multiple layers of how they ensure clan loyalty through actual blood binding, as well as just, like, ritualistic behavior, which people just tend to naturally kind of form little groups on. You know, it's like initiation rites. There's a reason why fucking fraternities go through the hazing weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of companies will have like, okay, cool, we have our company, whatever, corporate holiday bullshit thing. So everybody has to do a thing, like bring presents, and then you feel more, company activities, that kind of shit. So
We had a chili cook-off.
Yeah, see? There's many ways. There's many...
Actually, I'm not going to lie, it was
Yeah.
pretty dope. I got a bunch of... There were 3 chilies I could eat.
Ooh.
2 chicken chilies, 1 turkey chili. And they were all damn good.
That's good. But yeah, see, there's many different behavioral rituals that humans do to induce bonding formation, like social ties.
I wanted 2 points. 1, these Bloody Marias were maybe hitting a little bit more than I thought they would.
Oh, shit.
Number 2, I thought you were going to say, Hunter, go ahead and cut all that. I forgot what I was going to say.
We could just cut it right at these Bloody Marias might be hitting a little harder than I suspected. You do your code. You got your Boy Scout pledge.
Yeah.
You got this transubstantiation, the blood in the body of the Council of 7. The fledgling sire may be involved in their education after embrace, but it is likely to fall onto the pyramid and its structure as much as is on the sire. So, yeah, that like quote unquote traditional vampire, like, ooh, my sire, shake fist. There's a good chunk of the Tremere that are just like, I don't even actually know who the fuck my sire is. I just did this ritual and then have been taught by so and so and so and so and so and so, and they do not factor into my life at all.
One of the things it notes in the first book, too, is that they will specifically... I mentioned you can get moved around. Mm-hmm. It specifically mentions that one of the reasons a neonate to the clan might get moved is if they form too close of a friendship with their side. So they're like, those guys are too chummy. Here, you get this guy. We're going to give him to someone else.
It's like we need group cohesion, not individuality. Yes, and these notes are in the first Tremere clan book and some notes that are... continued on in Tremere Revised. Yep. But yeah, so it's notes from the first Tremere clan book and then also the Tremere Revised from the previous editions. Some of this has changed in the V5 canon, but we'll get to that later. The pyramid exists within the tradition of master and apprentices, so elders maintain control and power through systems of reward and punishment, psychological and emotional bonding through ritual, and strategic uses of blood bonds. The secrets of thaumaturgy and blood sorcery are highly guarded and make them making the elders be in charge of that makes them the one source for this. So it's like, hey, if you want to be a blood wizard, you gotta go be friends with the guy.
It's very old school hermetic style where you move your way up the power levels of a structure and you slowly learn more of the truth, whatever it is.
Yeah. You get more access to the library the higher up in the chain of command you are. So, yeah, the structure remains fairly highly inflexible within the traditions and often centers around the number 7. The Tremere love the fucking number 7.
Mm-hmm. It's a magical number.
It is, yeah. Actually, within numerology, 7 is tied in with intellect, research, consciousness, subconsciousness, and truth-seeking. Mm-hmm.
I've unfortunately been learning a lot of numerology. I've been reading some books that tie into a lot of like Crowley shit. Mm-hmm. And so I've had to learn a lot of numbers to understand like each paragraph is a key. And once you lay the words out on a grid and you go by 7 or 11 and it creates their sister words. And it's like, I hate this so much, but it's interesting.
Math.
Yeah, that's
it's magic.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. John's just shaking.
I feel like this is just fucking math teachers trying to be like, numbers are fun.
I was also going to say, for the guy shaking his head, isn't your favorite movie like Pi?
It's not my favorite movie, but it's in the top 5.
See, there's another one of those magic numbers. 5.
God damn it! You can't get away from them, though. Like 3, 5, 7, 13...
Yeah, these numbers come up a lot in World of Darkness. It's almost
42.
like the authors of this game system are into the occult. It's fucking weird, that. But yeah.
69.
So,
420.
420, the most magic of numbers.
Yeah.
Hitler's birthday.
No!
Oh, why you gotta bum us out, Hunter?
I was here for a weed number.
Yeah.
I thought the most magical number was 69.
That's part of the ritual.
Look.
They're changing it.
I'm gonna be honest, 69, mid.
It's a fun number, though.
It's a fun number?
I'm sorry. It's not a fun number. It's a nice number.
Nice. It is a nice number. Actual act, mid. I feel like a hot take here. Anyways,
I think that's not that hot of a take. I feel like a lot of people think that.
Speaking of positions,
Fucking vape.
many positions within the structure of the Tremere remain quote unquote vacant. to encourage collaboration and as rewards for those who prove themselves competent, either through service, ability, or politics.
So when neonates do survive their initiations, they are given a chain of command to follow and a framework to gain access to more power.
Yeah. Though, because vampire. Many within the clan will break the rules and backstab to gain favor and promotion. So
No,
it's,
really?
Yeah. So it's not like,
vampires.
oh, hey, we're all buddies here and we're working together through the goals. And though I think setting up a chantry like a modern corporation where they're like, we here consider each other family. And then there's just fucking chaos and evil shenanigans and paranoia.
You're telling me vampires backstab and do politics?
Right?
I, as a Samitsi / Toreador player, don't relate.
Do not relate. No backstabbing.
Instead of like a pizza party, do they just bring in a bunch of Italian people and be like, everyone take a bite?
Oh my god.
The Hakata are not okay with this.
We got some Medici. Anywho. Gaining rank within the pyramid is the most sure way of getting access to secret archives, getting aid and boons from other Tremere, and gaining access to other clan resources because they got bank.
They do have a lot of money.
A lot of money, a lot of resources for, like, estates, artifacts.
A lot like a bunch of old-timey wizards. You have money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's... Just the meme from It's Always Sunny. How do 3 grown men in their 30s not have a savings account?
The economy.
You see the economy. You see, I'm old poor.
You are new poor.
But sad note, the pressure of the training and the ladder climbing combined with the regular struggles of being a vampire does push many of the younger Tremeres to have mental breakdowns, self-harm, and suicide. It is very common for a lot of baby Tremere to not make it.
Now, when you say baby Tremere suicide, they've got to go to kind of extremes. Like, I'm going to go and just give myself to the sun. Or I'm going to set myself on fire.
Or they go to that one room in the chantry where if you just walk in, you explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's quite figured out what happened with that hex, but yeah, if you just step on the wrong floor tile, just...
Don't go in there.
Yeah, it has a lot of... It echoes the pressured intensity that I've seen from Japanese and Korean, like, school kids, where they're just like, I have to spend all this time studying and doing extracurriculars and and a lot of them are just driven just absolutely mad with the pressure that's put on them to learn all this shit. I'm just like, ooh, rough, bad times. Though, slight fun note, few Tremere up until recent nights avoided this hierarchy altogether, existing as anarchs or autarchis. So it was canon that there were some Tremere that were just like, fuck this shit, I am out, and they were doing their own thing, I'm assuming in a dirty hut somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably. There are a faction of Sabbat-leaning Tremere. We'll get into that next episode.
But few. There's not a lot of them.
Not anymore, no.
Not anymore. One thing I thought was interesting when I was reading the first book was specifically it talks about one of the lines in the what's the word? In the oath they swear when they're being embraced, it talks about, basically it's saying, all these rules don't apply to the Sabbat Tremere. Essentially, like, if you're part of the pyramid, you're a family. If you're one of the others of us doing other things, those don't apply anymore. And it specifically notes, it doesn't, that, in general, though, the Tremere view themselves as standing on the opposite side of anarchy. Which I would take as, there's more Sabbat Tremere than there are Anarch Tremere. There's pretty much not a lot of those.
Anarch Tremere tend to be, like, literally until V5, pretty much non-existent. Like, you might get the one weirdo that's, like, mainlined a lot of Alan Moore and Grant Morrison, and they're just kind of, like I said, in a dirty hut somewhere.
And also, like, they're so close with the Camarilla, and we know we talked about them echoing a lot of Ventru, and they have a lot of cross-play and work together. If you leave the pyramid, if you're able to not self-harm or any of that and get out and away, you immediately become open game for anyone else in the pyramid to just, like, strike you down if they feel like it.
Oh, yeah, no, I can get a promotion. Oh, that guy is out wild in the world with our clan secrets. Oh, if I nuke him from orbit.
You actually get rewarded for doing that.
So.
Or kidnapping them and spiriting them away to Vienna. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah. And it's, because you get into some fucking weird stuff, because I know some people complained about, like, the house system in V5, and they're like, this came out of nowhere. And I'm like, no, Clan Tremere, House Tremere is how most Tremere kind of identified. And then you had some that were, like, the house score tricks, like Sabbat guys, which, what happened to them's very, I don't want to say funny, but you're just kind of like, I'm shocked that didn't happen sooner.
I really like Spirited Away.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Yeah. So, fuck. Yeah, but yeah, yes, anding, the information about the Tremere and the Ventrue kind of being similar. So you know how in the Ventrue episode, I had pointed out that the Ventrue basically kind of ape, like, Western, capitalism and, colonialism and expansion and all that kind of stuff. The Tremere do that as well, but it's in a kind of in the more the spheres of academia and thought.
And the occult, even.
Yeah. So if you have a basic understanding of those things, you can kind of map out, like, what the Tremere are doing over the course of game timeline and plot. Also science.
Yeah.
Like, if you have an understanding roughly of, like, science history, you can kind of figure out where the vibe is for this clan.
I think one thing you'll find if you're interested in it in any regard is that a lot of the occult is very much an old boys club, and they don't want you in it.
Yeah.
And even, like, the ones that aren't run by men are very locked down, and, like, it can very quickly get into, like, cult kind of practices. And
Yeah. So yeah, like, much like the Ventrue, the Tremere kind of lack a lot of significant female and BIPOC leadership within the structure. So there might be more female and people of color in lower ranks, but when you get to higher ups, because that's elders that don't want to get away from their fucking seats, not as many of them.
Yeah, and we've talked about this adventure. It's also, unfortunately, part of that is also just, they're technically immortal. Why would they want to step down? So you have these very old people in these very high seats of power that have just been around forever.
Yeah. So the kind of issues that we have in academia now with issues about tenure and, like, perspectives and all that kind of stuff do get aped into the Tremere. So, you know, that's a fun thing if you want to deal with that plot-wise.
Yeah.
Though in recent nights, we do have the options of House Karna, which does bring more focus onto, like, more feminine and non-white occult practices. And then there's also House Epismus, which opens the door for more ritual and practice focusing on, like, self-study and more chaos magic-y kind of stuff. So if you're into, like, occult theory things, like, there's more doors now for you to explore that kind of stuff, as opposed to no, magic's only done this one way and it has to be done this way, and all of your bosses are old white guys and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they changed that, I think, is, like we talked about, they are supposed to be the vampire analog to mage, but we don't have a V5 mage, and I think trying to keep them locked into a very strict, we are the blood mages, old boys group, opening them up a little bit, I think makes them a little more fun for new players, especially.
Yes. So I'm gonna quickly brush through the rough structure of the pyramid. Just so everybody knows, each rank that I list here has 7 circles denoting the level of occult knowledge and political responsibility. So each level that gets listed has it's like fractals, where it's like 7 and then 7 of 7 and then 7 of 7 of 7 and 7 7 7 7. So there's a lot of things. But we're gonna start from the bottom of the pyramid and work our way up. So the very bottom technically doesn't even count as part of the pyramid, is the servitors, which is where gargoyles and demons, I'm not gonna get into that now, and ghouls go.
So this is like the ground that the pyramid is built on.
Yes.
Or at least the bones or the shitty Legos.
And even just some, like, non-ghouled mortals. And even mentions in the book that sometimes when they say demons, they mean fae. We'll just leave it at that.
Sometimes it's fae, sometimes it's actually demons. There's the whole branches of study within the Tremere that are literally just demonology.
Yeah.
It's bananas. All right. So the bottom, first level of the pyramid is the Acolytes, which is newly embraced, pre getting the Tremere code. And then those that are bound to the council but are not Tremere, because there are certain subsects of the Tremere where they're like, hey, we can't really, like, let you fully into the club because you're not one of us, but you do a cool occult stuff. So drink the soup, and you and we can work together.
that might be where some of those like Arcanum guys end up.
Yeah. Or, you know, some other vampires that do some touches of magic-y shit.
We can touch on this later if it's actually supposed to be later, but I forget. How do they feel about Crowley?
It's a mixed bag.
Okay.
Yeah, he's claimed by a lot of different game lines, and we could do a whole episode trying to plot him where he actually belongs in this universe.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point, we should probably do a history episode of various characters that exist in the real world that are also canonical to vampire, because like Al Capone's in the fucking game. Like he's canon, Rasputin's canon.
So is Dracula.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But next level is apprentices. Most Tremere exist on this level, and that duty and service is basically their kind of bag. This is the, all right, I've started my climb, I'm getting lessons, but I have to put on my pussy boss grind set level. So that's where most Tremere live. Then we have the magisters, which are the advisors to their elders and teachers to the apprentices. So this is like middle management. Regents are the head of a chantry. Pretty much every city that has Tremere in it will have a chantry. There will be a regent somewhere.
That's who you deal with in Bloodlines. He's a regent, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Now, in Cambria politics, not every regent is a primogen.
But they often are.
Often are. Sometimes they're not, just because they're like, look, I am too fucking busy. Just they'll give it to one of the magisters and be like, you do it. I don't want to fucking deal with these people.
You do it, but consult me before you make any large decisions.
You technically are in charge of the clan for the city, but, you know, I'm your boss, so just bring me bullet points. I'll tell you what to say. Don't worry about it.
That's one of those scary things, too, where we talked about in the Ventrue. Like, you could be the prince, but you still answer to the council, to the board. You could be the primogen and still...
Yeah, you could have somehow, like, worked your way up to be the primogen of your clan, but on the board, you're still, like, very low ranking, and you're just like, God fucking damn it.
There's always someone above you, just like in Ventrue, basically.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like most vampire clans have built a strange structure of, I don't actually have to do the work, but I'm going to keep all the power.
Weird, that.
Yeah, strange.
Speaking of that, there's then lords, which they'll manage a region of some sort, and they'll guide a collection of regions. Then there's pontifices. This is one of the words again. I have read in my brain, and this is the first time I've said it aloud.
I honestly think you said that correctly.
All right.
I agree.
They manage entire countries or large regions, and they will guide a collection of lords, usually 7 of them. And then there's the Council of 7, which is the true leadership of the clan. They will usually each have 7 lords that they are in charge of. These people will control things basically like continent-wide, or they'll like split a continent. These people are supposedly burned to a crisp and or captured by the Second Inquisition in Vienna, so don't worry about that. John is just grinning deviously.
Supposedly.
He is so pleased right now. Yeah, so as far as we are aware in the canon, the Council of 7 is dead, so I didn't bother listing who the fuck they are. So
that is also why I mentioned earlier that if you go against the clan or try and escape, you're sent to Vienna. You would, even like the most lowly guy who's like, fuck this, I'm out, would be sent to the Council of 7. Be like, they'll deal with you. And in the clan, they actually say, gone to Vienna as like a cute code word for someone had been killed.
Getting fucked.
Like if someone just disappears, like, what happened? Must have gone to Vienna.
yeah, and now Vienna is well, I guess it's not technically on fire now because that happened in 2008. I would assume the fire is out by now. But that area has been taken over by Second Inquisition agents, which we talked about in our Second Inquisition episode a little bit. So that's not a thing anymore.
I really like to picture that it's just a parking lot.
That power structure is probably what led to all the extra houses. That kind of would make sense in a
Or how
power
they-
vacuum.
Yeah, in a power vacuum, they just scrambled, and now they have the minimum 4 houses, but there is loads of secret societies and like other schools of thought within the Tremere where people might like fractionate more, but
I would also not put it past the Tremere to be doing almost what we think the Nosferatu are doing with ShrekNet, just being like, yeah, the Council of 7 was totally destroyed.
I would argue that if it wasn't for the fact that their blood's fucked up, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Pretty much all of the pyramid structure is confined into House Tremere, because before the Vienna incident, House Tremere claimed the entirety of the clan, regardless if you were like, I'm actually involved in this sub-school, and da-da-da-da-da. They're just like, haha, that's cute, you're in my house. So for the context of the new game, if you're in House Tremere, you're still maintaining this pyramid structure, and House Karna claims to be Camarilla, and they might play ball with parts of the structure, but they might also just be like,
We're vibing.
I'm vibing.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but House Karna is more like the Chaos Magicians of the Tremere.
Kinda, like I would say...
I'm not gonna play by that old fucking structure. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what I want.
Yeah, Karna's whole thing is like, kind of playing it safe where they're nominally in the Camarilla, but they're very anarch sympathetic, and they're also just kind of like, hey, you know what? Maybe women and black people should be allowed in the room to talk about shit. I don't know.
Preposterous.
Just like these. There's like a whole section where like Shrek is talking down and being like, these hedge mages reading their tea leaves and tarot cards and blah, 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 that's ridiculous. And Karna's like, if it works, it works. Like, why are you being such a bitch?
Hell yeah. Get it, Karna.
Hell yeah, girl.
Did I or did I not shoot a lightning bolt out of my finger?
Though because of LA by Night, a lot of people are like, House Karna's the Anarch House. And I'm like, they might.
It's not quite true.
In the meta plot, they might tip that way eventually officially, but currently now they're like, we're in the Camarilla, yeah.
They're doing what the Anarchs used to do.
Yeah.
Pretty much like, yeah, we'll play ball, but we don't really give a shit, and you aren't going to be able to hold us to it. And they're like, I guess.
And they're just like, fuck. But unfortunately, there's some internal structures that might cause that to be a problem. Pulling the collar. Anyways, many Tremere will converse with each other in Latin, which is what we talked about earlier. So if you want to have a cool like secret code,
Latin.
Yeah.
If you want to expand into ancient Greek or like Arabic, go for it.
Or if you want to get really obscure old Germanic languages or nightmares that some of them we actually still don't fully have translated. Like,
yeah, because I mean, fun thing I always seem to forget about, and I think a lot of players seem to forget about, is with languages, naturally when you read the languages section, all characters start out with two languages. The one that's the setting for the game and your native language. I would say you could argue / ask your ST about being like, hey, I'm a Tremere. I know I'm only a native of this area. Can I have the base language and Latin?
that makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
It just makes sense to just be like, look, it's a Tremere thing. Be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then that could open some fun doors with if you wanted to do politicking with like La Sombra, because a lot of them are so steeped in Catholicism. Like odds are they probably know Latin too, or various other clans where you're just like, oh hey, you and I can do like a social bonding because we both speak this archaic bullshit.
Also, like, as you're dealing with older people in general, I feel like Latin used to just be a requisite thing of higher learning that you knew.
Yeah.
Like, even if you were, like, an English professor, you would learn Latin.
Yeah, Latin used to be much more commonly taught as a civilized, educated person would know Latin and Greek and other stuff, but that's fallen out of favor in common use, let alone like public education. Like my high school had Latin, but it was like literally one teacher taught it like for one class and then taught other languages.
Yeah, like, I think even if you want to get scarier, the one big religion that still uses a lot is Catholicism. I wonder if there's any vampires that are into that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's secret languages and codes. Kind of a fun thing that Tremere into. Latin is the home base, but for your game, if you want to change it up, why the fuck not?
And like we said, secret societies within secret societies, you could always run like a weird subset of the Tremere who's like, we're into this, but we only do magic from like this chain of islands and their culture, or like, yeah, we're into magic, but actually what we're really doing is like Native American like spirit magic.
Oh yeah, no.
Out on like the...
Yeah, if you have people that like moved over early on in the settlement, and they're just like, yeah, no, I study like the ritual practice of the Taino, or people that are into hoodoo, and yeah, you can get fucking wild with it if you were so inclined. So other fun thing with the Tremere, magic items, it is canon. They can have that. If you don't want to play the wizard game, but you still want to do magic stuff with wands, you can do that here.
Yeah,
and
they can
not
get
be
wands.
a piece of shit.
What do you think the Tremere... I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to cause
No,
so many
you're
tangents this
good.
episode. What do you think the Tremere would do if they found the actual script of The King in Yellow?
Probably
Read the fuck out of it and study it.
have.
It causes madness.
Well, no,
Oh,
see,
just-
no.
just
Here's
to
no.
read
Here's the
breaks a
thing.
person.
What they would do is get an acolyte, have them read it, take notes on what happens to them, and then based on how they react to it, either squirrel it away so no man can ever look upon it again, or try to figure out a way to weaponize it.
Or hand it to another acolyte to study again.
Yes.
We're not going to get into it today, but that may have happened. The King in Yellow may exist in World of Darkness.
Yeah,
Wait, really?
I have a note about that. It's at the end of the script. I have a note about that.
That is sick!
Strap in. Okay, magic items. So in V5, there is occult artifacts, which is in the Chicago folios. It is for Banu Hakim and Tremere only, but if you want some cool like wizard items, there's that. Wands are canon in World of Darkness. I found this and it caused me to go into an 1.5 hour rabbit hole, unfortunately.
It was good.
So all magic wands utilize the power concealed in rods. Point the right kind of rod at your neighborhood banker and he will give you money. But the notion that wands are surrogate penises is a fallacy spelled with a PH.
God damn it.
It's
Tremere
so good.
Clan book, page 38. Does anybody else want to read the next part, or do you want me to keep going?
I'll do
I just
it.
kind of want to sit in my upsetness for a moment.
Yeah, this section of the book ended with a fucking dick pun, and I was just like, God fucking damn, God, fuck.
I can
Accurate for the occult.
It's so funny.
But
Curtain rods are particularly potent. Lee Harvey Oswald took a package of them to work on the morning of November 22nd, 1963. During his lunch break, he produced the famous magic bullet, which killed John Kennedy. The slug still remains in pristine condition so that it can, if necessary, be used again. That's in the Tremere Clan book, page 38.
Yeah, so I went on that wild ride. Because I was like, okay, so here's the thing. I know way too much about the JFK assassination. He did have curtain rods. That is a historical fact. That means somebody also in like the mid-90s was more of like a fucking JFK nerd, because that was the time, that was just the conspiracy theories at the time, and was like, you know what, I should throw this into this fucking vampire book that I'm writing. And to add to this, yes.
do the Tremere also like perform magical rituals on the grassy knoll?
They might have. So here's the thing. Okay, strap in.
don't want to.
I put this quote in the script and I was like, oh, that's just kind of a fun haha. Like, that's fucking wild. Why would I not share that with the fans? And then I was like, is Lee Harvey Oswald canon in World of Darkness? So it turns out Lee Harvey Oswald does exist within the short story, but I Feel the Bright Eyes in the anthology novel Dark Destiny, published by White Wolf in 1994. He is a ghoul in that story. I could not find a free download of the novels because I was going to skim it to see what clan he belonged to, but I'm guessing based on the fact that he used a rod to make a magic bullet, he's probably a Tremere ghoul, but I don't fucking know for sure. So if somebody wants to help me get that book.
So, if being a ghoul gives you the clan's powers, being a Tremere ghoul and just being like, I get magic now, kind of nuts. So I didn't
Fucking nuts.
putting that together that their ghouls also just, if they're lucky, they could just get the spells instead of any of the other vampire abilities.
Now, you can only get to a certain blood not blood potency, but like discipline dot as a ghoul. So you'd only get blood sorcery dot one.
To begin
right?
with, you can learn above 1 dot, but you take aggravated damage learning it, and every time you use an ability above 1 dot, you take aggravated damage. So technically, I think it's supposed to stop at 2. Technically, you could push it further. If you get 3 dots, that's 3 dots of aggravated damage to learn it, and then 3 dots every time you use it.
So you're almost dying every time you use one of these.
Which honestly, Tremere Ghoul having the audacity to be like, I'm gonna learn this and I'm just have this in my back pocket for like an anime hero. I'm almost dead. Fuck it. YOLO. Yeet. I'm gonna use this ability to fuck with you. I'm just like, yeah, that's very in line for the clan.
Now, the reason you're taking aggravated damage, sorry, we're going into mechanics
Nah,
here for a
it's
second.
fine.
The reason you're taking aggravated damage there, as far as fluff goes, is like you are burning the blood inside your
Yep.
body.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you're burning
To
so
perform
much at a time that your
Right.
body is all of a sudden like,
Ugh.
Essentially, you've taken like, what, a body holds 9 pints of blood?
9 to 10
9
liters.
to 10 liters?
No, you're right, Pine. Sorry.
Pint, yeah. But 9 to 10 pints of blood. So you're like, I'm going to go ahead and burn like 5 of these in order to cast this weird spell. And now you are down to like 4 to 5 pints of
You're
blood.
gonna die.
You're like passing out. At the very minimum. That's kind of cool, actually.
It's super metal.
Yeah.
It's super fucking metal. But the Tremere might have killed JFK. So like,
Might have.
Not as metal. I mean, kind of super metal, but also not.
But
so,
I'm also just like, what did
not so
JFK
cool.
do to the wizards?
I just
Like, why did they want to kill him?
Okay, hold on. I Hunter, feel free to cut this. But JFK wanted to like bring in more POCs into the like world, right? Kind of, at least mildly.
Yeah.
The Tremere, being an old boys club, don't like that so much.
I think it might have been the disruption to the social order more would have fucked them off. They're like, we don't care as much about the not whiteness thing. It's more of just this was going to disrupt society and we can't fucking have that.
Fair.
The more thing that concerns me about that quote is the slug remains pristine in condition so that it can, if necessary, be used again. What is the use for this magic? Is it a specifically monarch killing one-shot headshot kill bullet?
Well,
Monarch is not the correct term there.
Some form of leadership.
Well, I think the magic bullet is
You gotta be
like,
specific
It
with
can
magic,
penetrate. You can hit multiple targets with it.
I mainly just
Wait,
wanted
did
to...
JFK die with multiple people?
The magic,
people
okay,
didn't
so
die
the
that
magic
day.
bullet theory says that Lee Harvey Oswald somehow shot one bullet and it ricocheted to destroy JFK's brain and then also shot like a congressman that was in the car with him. He didn't die though.
Yeah, only JFK died, but
yeah.
there were other people injured.
Went through the front seat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I am in the proponent of, I think one of the Secret Service guys was hungover and fucking fucked up his gun and just like misfired.
Yeah.
And then we've been covering it up for like 50
It was
years.
the first week that the Secret Service had ever used that arms. They were all hungover and had not been properly trained in that specific rifle. Yeah. And strangely, right after that, Secret Service discontinued use of that rifle and has never used it again.
Fucking wild, that.
So we think
I
what
like
happened.
that all of you are looking at me like I'm ready to say
Well,
something.
you had-
Well, you
had your-
had the look that
Yeah.
you were going to say something, and then so did James. So
But yeah, the real theory was that they were trying to kill the governor in the car. He shot the governor, did not kill him. Secret Service agent said, "Oh fuck, it's going off." Went to like arm his rifle and blasted him in the head.
Huh.
That's why it's the weird angle.
Yeah.
bloodlines and subcultures of note. The clan itself is considered a bloodline of Zamitzi. We'll get into that next episode. I know, John, just strap in. I know. Look, I know my progenitors fucked up, and I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I wasn't there.
I still think
I
you're
know it's
more
not
of a
your fault.
Bruja.
Me?
No.
Oh.
Am I
Sarah.
Bruja? I mean,
You're not completely trash.
Sarah, I love you.
Yes.
Dearly.
Yes.
But out of the four of us, I feel like you have probably performed the least amount of magical rituals.
That's not true at all.
Really?
I just don't talk about it.
Oh, well.
I know you got a money
You
bowl.
should
I
start
actively have a money bowl.
sharing rituals.
Yeah, do you not remember my hoe phase? Like, do you realize how much sex magic I did during my hoe phase?
I just figured that was your hoe phase.
No.
It can be both.
No. I was choosing terrible men specifically for ritual purposes.
Good. All right.
Like,
these bitches wonder why they got a technocrat agent to come here and just be like,
yeah.
So bloodlines.
So bloodlines. There's two things of note within the Tremere. There is the Telyavelic Tremere. They're a bloodline from the Dark Ages setting that focuses on the study of Eastern mysticism that has a weakness to Christianity specifically. I think this bloodline is super fucked
hilarious.
up. Maybe just skip it.
Wait, a weakness?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they are Tremere that were sent off to go study Eastern mysticism, and then
When they came back, they were like, oh, the cross.
yes,
That's fucking dumb.
That's
Yep.
weird.
and then there is the Tremere. Yeah, I said it. They're Indian Tremere, like India subcontinent, Southeast Asian India, who accepted non-Tremere within their ranks, mostly the Nosferatu and the Ravnos, because they basically went to they're Tremere that went to India and they went, fuck, we're alone. Hey guys, you seem cool. Do you want to hang out? And they're just like, yeah, and they just kind of vibed.
We have to do an
Interesting.
episode. We have to do an episode about India eventually. I feel like the little bits that we've covered have all been like really interesting. Like, oh,
yeah, because again, we don't want to talk about nopes, don'ts, and the very bad Eastern portrayals, but like the Middle East stuff is really fucking interesting.
I think we're gonna have to delve into Indian culture and histories when we get into the Ravnos specifically because of just
Weekend Nightmares.
just how much.
well, not even just Weekend Nightmares, just like the way that they're culturally coded and the the genesis story for Ravnos is so tied into Indian folklore that that's going to be one of those episodes where it's like, I'm going to have to lock myself in a room for a month and like read up myself on what little I understand of Indian culture.
See,
It's really sad that I don't live in that house with the murder basement anymore. We could just lock you in there.
I know, right?
if I still think if you like the Ravnos and you want to use them as like a main clan a little bit more, just have them run towards that Indian mythology. We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because there's a lot of you can get into really interesting cultural stuff once you get into like Iran, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, all that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of really cool just history stuff and cultural stuff. And honestly, the food there fucking slaps. I've never once had a meal from that region of the world, and it was not like I would kill God for this. Those are the two like official like quote unquote Tremere don't really do bloodlines. Instead, what they have are houses and secret societies.
Yeah. We mentioned the houses a lot. But
Yeah, so in previous editions, there were secret societies and houses within the clan, each focusing on specific goals, occultic thought, and philosophical goals. There were too many for me to fucking mention all of them. I just picked 5 that I were like, these are really fucking cool. We're just going to blast through these real quick. There were the Astors, which is a secret organization that hunts traitors and infiltrators within the pyramid. So the real KGB kind of shit, but with wizards.
Oh no.
The Brothers of Absinthe were a branch of the Tremere who believed that their usage of certain drugs, particularly absinthe, could be used to elevate their consciousness and awareness in dreams. So this could be astral projecting. This could be a way of the Tremere to enter into the dreaming if you want to get into face shit and all that. Yeah.
They're probably hanging out with the Cult of Ecstasy if you
Yeah,
want to throw
I was
some
about to say
mages in.
Yeah.
This feels like just the Tremere recruiting for the Cult of Ecstasy.
My favorite part of any movie is the spot in Bram Stoker's Dracula where Dracula and Mina are in the room that's filled with candles, and Dracula is like, the green fairy lives in the absinthe.
I mean, it's a cute little, it's cute. It's a beautiful scene. It's a cute little, like, way to trick normie girls into your gothy bullshit. But I'm like, guys, the reason people trip balls on old-timey absinthe is because people were bootlegging absinthe to make it greener, so they're just pouring mystery fluids in.
A lot of it was wormwood. They put a lot of wormwood in there.
Like, heroic amounts.
Technically a poison, but will make you hallucinate.
Yeah, but if you get absinthe these days, I'm like, it's just a herbal liqueur. Honestly, I love it. I put it in cold brew. It's delightful.
I had a friend who imported absinthe from Germany and then added wormwood to it.
To make it more...
To make it more like original absinthe.
Interesting. How'd that go?
It was tasty.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I don't love licorice, but for some reason, like if you make absinthe like it should be made with the sugar cube,
with the
and
lotion and all
spoon
that,
and
yeah.
the water.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
no,
of
that
it,
stuff's delightful.
it's great. Absinthe straight though,
Fucking. Oh yeah,
no,
it's
thank
like.
you. It's licorice concentrate.
Yeah, it's like 100. It's like a really high proof. Like some absinthe you can just set on fire. Like it's ridiculous. Anyways, the Covenant seeks knowledge of necromancy to combine it with thaumaturgy. So these are Tremere that'll probably hang out with the Hakata.
Yeah.
And be like, hey bro, I do ghost stuff, you do ghost stuff, let's collaborate. The Third Eye. These are Tremere that seek to atone for the genocide against the Salubri.
So like one of the only good ones.
Some of the only good ones, where they're just like, that was an oopsie poodle, maybe we should not have done that. Fuck.
How do we do reparations for the Salubri?
Just like, just maybe the Salubri weren't soul-eating, demon-worshipping fucknuts. Maybe we were the baddies.
Maybe they were actually kind of cool.
Maybe. Oops. And then we have Order of the Worm.
Ooh.
Not so cool.
An apocalyptic organization that believes, through studying the Book of Nod and the Al-Azif, which is a text written in the Middle Ages by Abd al-Hazred, they can understand worlds beyond our own. They fear their torpid leader, so Tremere, the guy who started the clan, has been replaced with something else. That Gehenna is nigh, and we need to prepare for doom beyond imagining.
Oh, so they get it.
They get it.
I really like the specific phrasing of replaced with something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so they're just like, there could be some sort of eldritch abomination in that worm body, and it's not Tremere anymore.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Al-Azred. Isn't that the name of the term that we shouldn't talk about from Lovecraft?
Alhazred is a character within the Lovecraft mythos who is this kind of like wandering mad poet who writes like prophetic magical scriptures and shit like
Came in
that.
contact with basalt monoliths in vast deserts.
Didn't
Yeah.
he write the Necronomicon?
Yes.
He's
Yep,
one
there
of
we
the
go.
authors.
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't he the one that wrote it and then exploded?
Yes.
Technically,
They
And-
kind of reference that in the Tremere book a little bit. Where like, yeah, he just mysteriously disappeared. So
You want to know something funny? So I had this hard drive for Hunter. Feel free to cut this if you feel like it. But I had this hard drive, and I just left it hard drive D for a very long time. And one day I was like just feeling it, and I was like, this holds a lot of my media. Most of my media is horror movies. I'm gonna name this hard drive Alhazred.
mistake, but go on.
yeah.
Like 3 weeks later, it died. Right. And it was an older hard drive, so like that's not super surprising, but the timing was
Yeah, it's weird that
pretty
you're just
good.
like, hey, buddy, I very much respect you, and I'm going to give you a good name. And it's
Right.
just like, well,
And it's
you
like-
have filled my doom.
right.
So those are some of the houses. There's a plethora of secret societies that delve into demonology, numerology, divination, all that kind of shit. So again, instead of playing the Turf Wizard game, if you just want to have a VTM game where it's Oops All Tremere and you just want to do magic school bullshit, you can literally do that, and you can have cool Lovecraft shit and fucking.
Which
and,
really is
and
better
no
than-
anti-Semitism.
I was
like,
about to say
yeah.
it's mostly better than Lovecraft shit. Lovecraft's awesome, but like if you could subtract all the like hatred, that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
I've still got to say, yeah, and if you need a cool wizard game, Elden Ring has at least 10 times the amount of spells in that shitty wizard game.
Yeah. So
Also, you could play Magic Gathering.
yeah, Magic the Gathering.
Strixhaven.
Honestly, you could probably use the Tremere stuff and then just as an ST, if you want to run an Oops All Tremere game, pull in lore from Magic the Gathering. Don't tell your players,
Yeah.
and just run a Chronicle.
I mean, let's
you could
be
do
real.
that.
Super duper fuck Watsy. Like, fuck them all. I hate them. Wizards of the Coast. Fuck them. They're shitty, but Magic has some good lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 4 main houses currently in the V5 canon. We'll delve into that next episode with the history wrap up. So there's that.
1 TM to Skipper's statement when they're not advertising to China.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
remember the lore gets really shitty when they're like, oh, wait, we're trying to sell to China. We got to remove all the diversity in the gays.
I just do my best to ignore most of what is released in China.
Well, no. When they decide that they're going to try and advertise for China,
That's what I
they
mean.
will change their
Yeah.
lore. Because
Yeah.
again, we have decidedly male Gideon.
Yes. So to wrap up the Tremere vibe check, the disciplines for the Tremere are blood sorcery, which is magic, which is mostly what they're known for. Blood sorcery is split between discipline spells and rituals. You get 1 discipline spell per discipline level. Rituals can be bought at a time and XP cost and are limited by the discipline level. But that's it. So you can crank up as many rituals as you want within the bounds of your discipline knowledge.
Don't you get 1 ritual free the first time you get blood sorcery?
Yep, but that's noted on the thing.
That's also 1 dot, so you'd get 1.
Yeah, so you get one dot discipline, 1 dot ritual, but that's the only freebie ritual you get.
Yeah.
Everything else you gotta learn.
Are we going to be going into like how the blood sorcery actually works?
Yeah,
in these episodes?
for ease of everybody maintaining the format of how we've done the clan deep dives, at the end of once we get through the Tremere month, as a little treat, we're gonna do a Magic 101 because
Okay.
blood sorcery is shared by multiple clans, and there is magic shit that exists outside of vampire and outside of blood sorcery, and I just figured it'd be easier to.
Yeah, do that
Cool.
after.
I just wanted to make sure we were going to cover it because
Yeah.
it is blood sorcery is weird.
Blood sorcery is weird. It's fun, little weird. But moving on, the Tremere also get aspects, which allows them to get sight beyond sight, which is like let you see auras, ghosts. You can divine the future, all that kind of shit. It's nifty and
Very
then
useful.
It's super useful. And then dominate. I wrote it down as they will be done. If you want to talk in occult shit, but it's the shitty way of doing it, where you're mind raping people into doing things that you want. Mostly using for controlling mortals, ghouls, and your lessers. So, yeah, it's very common within the pyramid to be like, the acolytes talking up, you just go do this. It's more efficient that way than to explain to you why you need to do your thing. If you're not going to say yes and do what I ask for, just go. So, also adds to the clan being a little shitty. Clan Bane. They currently have Fractured Vitae. Previous editions, the Tremere clan Bane, they didn't really have a Bane like the other clans. Their issue was they were susceptible to bonding within their own ranks, but like that was kind of it. So if you wanted to play a vampire that didn't really have a lot of problems, Tremere was a way to go.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So the Tremere can no longer blood bond other vampires, but they can be bloodbound. So it kind of fucks the whole pyramid structure ritual plans where they're like, hey, we need to take the sippy cup of juice from your boss's boss's boss. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't actually do anything anymore. So whether or not they're continuing that ritual out of just tradition and practice,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah, they hint at that being them trying to keep that a secret from everyone else.
Yeah.
That they can't bloodbind people.
That's a huge, all the Tremere, like, we cannot tell people that this is a problem we have. We cannot.
Because that's a huge problem. I know we're gonna go into it next episode. I love the way that this new clan ban happens, and I can't wait to talk about it, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, so we'll go into the details of why that happened in the next episode, but that's the problem, and John looks so pleased.
John has the look on his face like, bad things do happen to bad people.
Exactly. But yeah, so Tremere cannot bind other vampires, but they can be bound. They can bind ghouls and mortals, but it takes longer than usual. An additional night per what the Bane severity is. So if you have Bane severity 2, instead of it taking 3 nights, it takes 5. And so on and so forth. So the more powerful you are, the weaker your blood is, so therefore the longer it takes for you to bind ghouls.
That's crazy.
It's super funny. It's super funny. Karma said yeet.
All I can picture is the like elder who's like, drink of my blood, expecting something to happen, and then the first time it doesn't, then being like, wait, what?
Could you?
And all the internal conflict that just explodes in their brain just brings me so much joy.
Could you imagine the first time that happened to Strauss?
I know.
It's so funny.
So
It's so funny.
It's so good.
Oh, think about Gortrix. Just like, yes,
Oh,
good.
If Gortrix is technically still around, that's a whole other...
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Gortrix might be Tremere. It's a whole thing. But yes, the clan compulsion is perfectionism. Nothing but the best satisfies the vampire. Anything less than exceptional performance instills a profound sense of failure, and they often repeat tasks obsessively to get them just right.
Oh, so OCD. Go on.
Until the vampire scores a critical win on a skill roll or the scene ends, the vampire labors under a 2 dice penalty to all dice pools. Reduce the penalty to 1 die for a repeated action and remove it entirely on the second repetition.
You know, it's funny how much that lines up, and this is completely different, but it's interesting how much that lines up with like Toreador stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, it's not just right, I've got to keep working on it.
I've got to make it best.
Yeah. And it falls into some old mythos ideas about vampires having to like obsessively like count rice or adjust things. So
Or untie knots.
yeah. So it's kind of it's this one. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. Good job, guys.
that's
this
good.
is a really solid one. And also the amount of burnt out gifted kids that are just full of anxiety and are just like, I have to. Not that I'm one of those. I have no idea.
If I can't get it perfect, I might as well just not do it.
Yeah.
That's how my brain works.
So, final thoughts, at least so far, on the vibes and structure and culture of the Tremere.
I think I can sum it up in 3 words.
What you got?
Fuck the Tremere.
I don't know. I think they're a lot of fun.
Nah, fuck the Tremere.
They're one that I haven't read a lot about, but it really does make me want to read more. I read the first book. I'll probably read the revised book in between now and episode 2. But I'm really enjoying it. Most of what I know about Tremere is her mage, and the mages probably hate the Tremere more than the Zumitzi, so it's usually not good things you're hearing.
That is saying something.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then a lot of them also just end up working together anyway.
yeah, there might be some history of the Tremere just going through the Order of Hermes and being like, hey, you with us? Cool, drink this. You're not with us? Cool. Beat the shit out of him. Drink this.
Yeah, and those secret societies, a lot of them are just Tremere who are like the one we mentioned. They probably are hanging out with like the Cult of Ecstasy. There's probably also ones that are like, we're just gonna hang out with some Nefandi, see what happens.
Yeah. It's like, look, we're studying the same manuscripts, we can just We can just collaborate. It's fine.
I'm not gonna lie, in our game when we were playing it, playing as Alec, I was legitimately nervous about meeting Tremere in
Really?
that game.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, he grew up with an elder,
Yeah.
Zemitzi, and like he's doing his best to like break those habits, but it's an elder Zemitzi like brainwashing him and living for decades.
Yeah.
He's not a huge fan.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the Tremere, but not because I'm like, they're good and they do cool things. I'm like, no, they're awful, terrible people, but
They do cool things.
there's a lot of story interest and lots of things that help, and I like playing utility characters, and Tremere are really good utility characters if you're just like, hey, I'm in a coterie and people need shit done, and I'm just like, move, I'm gay, I got this.
Well, one of the things
Cleric.
Fuck off.
one of the things we'll get into, and when we get to the history, that I think is why so many people are openly anti-Tremere is they're one of the youngest clans, or the youngest clan, and so their history is really well known compared to everyone else. Where like a lot of stuff we talk in these history parts are like, yes, but this was hundreds of years ago, and maybe the elders remember some of this, but like especially the detail. But with Tremere, like it pretty much was all happening at least past the dawn of like written language, and they don't have as many gray areas in history, and a lot of people they pissed off by formation are still around. So I feel a lot of the Tremere shit is out in the open compared to a lot of the clans that are like, they seem like the nice guys. Don't ask what happened in World War II, that we've like gone over for some other clans. The Tremere, they kind of have, I don't know if owned, but at least they're known. Their shittiness is all known publicly.
Right. And there's something to be said about when they formed and they were such a small sect and they're trying to like survive. There's something to be said about like, what if I just like weaponize all of the hate? Because if everybody thinks I'm a big, badass, scary guy, but I'm not, I'm like, I might as well just let them think that.
I come from the Zemitzi side of it, where like I know your fucking history and I know how you came to be,
And I know what you did.
and I don't like it.
Ugh. I'm
Now
like,
I can fully someday. It'll probably be quite far in the future, my friends. But we'll cover Zemitzi, and I can own up to the fact that they are also absolutely pieces of shit. Like horrific garbage monsters of evil.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we didn't grab a whole clan and like experiment on it. Fuck.
Well,
Yes, you have.
Clan.
Not a clan. We just do that to anybody. We're not discriminating against a specific people.
Yeah. A clan. A clan.
Yeah, all of them. We don't care. We welcome. We welcome all to be couches
no.
and
I'm just saying. Let's
portraits.
be real.
But Tremere is like
Tremere
three.
grabbed 3, and then also went. I see those peace guys that are actually probably one of the chillest
let alone-
individuals in Vampire Society. It sounds like the weakest bitch that we can fucking do.
Is it they were taking advantage of somebody's weakness or did Salat play 4D chess and he's like, actually, I have this plan and what I need this plan to do is, hey Tremere, I need you to eat me, and Tremere's like, all right, bet.
So that also
And
ties
then
in.
there's Goratrix.
Well, that ties into our Malkavian episode too, where the Malkavian Salat was like his brother, and that happened. He's like, that's okay. He was surprisingly not upset about his brother getting eaten.
Yeah.
And then the Order of the Worm, I know you keep saying that, but Salat could also just be in that worm body too now, and probably is. It's probably
It might be Salat, it might be, there's a lot of options, but
it seems like, at least where it reads in the current canon, that it's not just it's like everybody lost in one at the same time, because it's like Salat got a body, Gortrix got a body, Zemitzi's worm flesh is just like
Is the body.
Stay tuned for next episode with the Tremere clan history, where I'm gonna have to go full Pepe Sylvia board.
Hey, we got that like
We do
4
have a
by 3
board.
cardboard.
We do have a board on the
billboard.
wall now.
We do.
I have 2 more in the recording room too. So
Fuck. So thank you, Paralyze, for the music.
Your house is going to be covered with strings.
So many
As
songs.
we attach from the here to the recording.
then my family will stop asking to come over, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. Paralyze has some cool shit on Bandcamp. You should check it out. They do good music. We appreciate them.
They really do.
Yes. If you like our stuff and you want to interact with us on the interwebs, we have a Twitter at @blank_bodies. We have Instagram at @blankbodiespod. We have the TikTok at blankbodiespodcast. Hunter runs the Tumblr at Blank Bodies Pod.
It's unhinged.
It's a little
It
unhinged.
is.
It's a little feral, and we love that for him.
Bleh.
We do have a Patreon, so if you appreciate our work and you want to give us a couple of doll hairs for that, we much appreciate it. You do not feel obligated. We know the economy's bullshit. If you can, cool. If not, no worries. There are little rewards ranging from titles on the Discord, which we have a free and open community Discord. Everybody there is lovely and delightful. There's also poll voting to help us decide things on the show and for movie night streams. There's stuff for me doing character sketches for you guys. We are also trying to get all the show notes and resources as an asset for you guys. We also have an itch, which is a bunch of freebies if people want to check that out.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of revamping that. When we finish this series, I'm hoping to have everything done. Tax season surprised me, and we now have taxes, unfortunately.
The Ventrue somehow found out about us.
I mean, it's cool and bad.
Yeah, it's like
It's
I
nice
appreciate
to have the contacts that a Ventrue has, but also dealing with a Ventrue.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fans that have donated money so that we can upgrade our equipment, and hopefully we will get to our Patreon goal and be able to do 4 episodes a month.
Oh yeah, we got new mic stands. Thank
Yeah.
you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. These mic stands aren't held together with duct tape and cardboard boxes.
And hope
It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
the mics stay where they're supposed to
Right?
now.
Weird.
Don't forget, if you pay us $1,000, we'll get a corn hot tub.
I think, do we want to make that
I forgot
a
to add
Patreon?
that. I was going to add it when that episode went up. So not up now that we're talking, but it will be up by the time they're hearing this. So
We have
corn
the,
hot tub.
Yeah, the corn tub stream.
No joke though. Like I just had to throw away some corn because I wasn't able to cook it fast enough because I had
Don't have a corn tub.
I don't have a
Yeah.
corn tub. I had ADHD moment and forgot the corn was in my fridge.
I don't know why, but I feel we could blame the Tremere for you not having a corn hot tub too.
Tremere,
You guys-
what the fuck is wrong with you? I could perform so many interesting occult rituals inside of a corn hot tub.
Guys, I'm not looking forward to the next meeting.
Think about how many times that I could utter "do what thou wilt" while blowing into an inflatable hot tub.
Also,
No,
John,
it's a wood hot tub with like a little fire basin so that it boils the corn and heats your water.
That makes me so much more happy.
It's
I don't-
actually a legit hot tub.
I don't trust you because of your ADD story. I know what would happen is you would accidentally turn your corn hot tub into an nganga. And it would
No.
just be like stinky
No.
and gross. There'd be
No.
old corn.
Ungangos are terrifying, and I refuse to have one anywhere near me.
No, here's the thing. It would accidentally be a corn nganga because you would overboil the corn, forgetting about it, and then one of your doggos would drop a toy, presumably maybe a bone or some sticks, in the corn tub by mistake.
And you know what happened from
Okay.
when I left the bucket of blood out on our back porch at the old house that
Okay, no,
and
here's the
local
thing.
animals would start drowning in it.
No, here's the thing. It was a bucket of fake blood that I kindly...
There's real blood in it.
No.
There
People
was
bled.
pig blood.
People what? I knew
Right.
people
Yeah, there's
like
big
cut
blood,
themselves
yeah.
and bled into it because we were drunk.
Yeah, there's is mostly fake blood, some pig blood, and then drunk people added human blood. And then I said, I can't take this to the concert anymore, and it got left.
Okay, I wasn't sure what happened with that, and then I
And then
kindly
a
asked
rat
you guys.
drowned
Yeah,
in it.
I kindly asked you guys for several nights to be like, hey. Could somebody handle this? Because I would like to get our trash can back. Because the bucket was our trash can, and then no one did. And I came home from work, and there was just a dead rat floating in it. So I took it to the woods behind our house and just left it.
Do not include me in that. I did not have anything to do with the blood outside on our porch.
All right, goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Mwah.